And you're still watching Prime Morning. It's time for the News Flash segment. My name is Roslyn Felly, and a very big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. With Franco Trading Enterprise, we are always covered with regards to our gadgets. So whatever gadgets you're looking for, whether mobile phones, televisions, CCTV cameras, we say worry no more. We've got your back. You can actually download the app on your phone to make things very simple, which is the Franco Trading app. Or for further inquiries, visit our website, which is www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still and still for Papa Perfie. I have my newspapers here, but I think that I should introduce to you my guests because they are seated already and they came in a bit early, you know. So I just want to say a very good morning to my very first guest, and he came in at exactly 6 a.m. Zaki Abdul Hamid, and he is a member of the MPP communications team. Good morning, Zaki.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
Great. And I saw social media, your people were hailing you. I know they've tuned in right now. They can't wait to hear your submission this morning.
And I'm grateful to them for the support that they offered to me when the flyer came out. I'll be on the show this morning.
Fantastic. You have a good fan base. And representing the NDC, you have Alfred Freddy Kotogbor, and he is also a part of the NDC communication, but he's actually UK Ireland chapter youth organizer. All right, welcome.
Thank you.
So you're coming from UK, or you live in Ireland? Where do you live?
London.
Oh, you live in London. Okay.
Yeah, so UK.
Okay. Hey, Eddie old pounds in there. Plenty. Welcome to Ghana, though.
Thank you.
Have you relocated?
No.
You're going to go back?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you people said the economy is good, so you're coming back.
You've given us another job to do over there as a youth leader, to mobilize the youth over there and bring more investors. So we have to go there and continue working.
Fantastic. I'll do the newspapers and then we can delve into our conversation for this morning. So I'll start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. The Daily Graphic: mismanagement of public funds, PAC vows value for every city, chases scholarship beneficiary for refund. Helicopter crash fund accrues 2.315 million Ghana cedis, 2.350 million Ghana cedis. So it's 2 million Ghana cedis actually. For those of you who might say that it's 201 million, no, it's 2 billion Ghana cedis, 315 Ghana cedis. Okay, so at the DEFCON 2025 in Kenya, President Ruto hails Zoom Lions bold waste solutions, get fund earmarks funds for colleges of education projects. And I'll take a bit of stories in here as well. All right, so for the, so I'll just go to the back page. The back page is about Lands Commission deploys effective continuous operating reference system and Parliament to launch caucus on immunization. That'll be it for the Daily Graphic newspaper. The next newspaper is the Chronicle newspaper. The Chronicle newspaper: President Ruto lauds Zoom Lions high-tech sanitation facilities. Police recovers arms and munitions during 24-hour patrol. And it's quite surprising the number of people who have arms in their possession, especially unregistered arms in their possession. And so I'm happy that the police is embarking on this and they are recovering these ammunitions. Sometimes when you hear of these things, you get a bit shocked. But anyway, yes, there are some entertainment stories here as well. Empress Gifty adjudged Artist of the Year 2025 Ghana Music Awards USA. Jackie's debut album After Midnight set for release on August 25th. Boys raised by single mothers won't be weak, says Jim Ike. And Emoji signs major global deal with Integrity Music. Congratulations to him. That'll be it for the Chronicle newspaper. But the Chronicle newspaper has a tradition that I love to keep up with that tradition, and it has a Bible verse. It's from 2 Chronicles chapter 15 verse 7. But as for you, be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded. But as for you, be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded. I don't know which of the stories it is for, whether it's for President Ruto lauding Zoom Lion or it's for police recovering arms. All right. So the final newspaper is the Ghanaian Publisher. The Ghanaian Publisher. Ekufuado's warning to Africa, strengthen institutions or risk collapse. Upon Nkrumah questions BOG sterilization policy and minority slams lawless Ridge Hospital intrusion. And this will be one of our conversations this morning. We know what's been happening. Social media has made things very, very visible now. So now when something happens, nobody can cover it up. And if it's wrong, we'll call it out. If it's right, we'll say we'll praise you. And currently, as we speak, we have, so many government organizations calling out what happened at the Ridge Hospital, not just them, but we have also even some corporate bodies calling out. Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, they are calling it out, and something must be done. Minority is also not happy about it. That's all for the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. So my guests are seated, and let's start with this particular conversation, where yesterday, I'm wondering which one I should start. Whether I should start with the OSP versus Madam Cecilia Dapaah, who is a former minister for sanitation and water resource, or I should start with the sanitation levy, or I should start with Ridge versus Ralph. Maybe I should start with the OSP versus Cecilia Dapaah, because that's also top of mind for a lot of people, and my guests are seated for the conversation. Now, yesterday, there was a communique from the Office of the Special Prosecutor letting us know the current state of the issue between themselves. That's the OSP, Office of the Special Prosecutor, and Cecilia Dapaah. Now, in the year 2023, we will all recall that Madam Cecilia Dapaah filed a case against her house helps because a certain amount of money was missing from her home. Out of that, people called for the investigation of how Madam Cecilia Dapaah was able to get over $1 million in her house. During the investigation, certain amounts of money was also discovered in the house. Her account was frozen. Now, yesterday, the Office of the Special Prosecutor made us aware that in 2024, they were told by the then government to hand over the case to the IYOCO, but it was handed back to them as the Office of the Special Prosecutor. But as it sits now, they have handed the case back to IYOCO by this government, because that's the directive by this government that the case should be handed over to the IYOCO. They have done that, and they've also unfrozen all of the accounts that they froze during their investigation. So it doesn't mean that the case is over completely, but it means that for the Office of the Special Prosecutor, they have handed everything they need to hand over to IYOCO to continue with the case. And yesterday again, people were speculating that the case was over. And so the Office of the Special Prosecutor brought out a communique again, that's the second one, to let us know that there was a misinformation. And I'll read where they said this. They said, and I'll take it from the first paragraph. It says that these reports, okay, let me start from the top. The attention of the Office of the Special Prosecutor has been drawn to misleading reports on the findings regarding investigations involving Mrs. Cecilia Dapaah. Certain media outlets reported that the FBI, in quote, found no evidence of corruption, while others claim that the FBI, in quote, found no direct evidence of corruption. Some have gone further to publish that the FBI has cleared Cecilia Dapaah. These reports are inaccurate and a mischievous misrepresentation of the OSP's half-yearly report, page 9, bullet 2.26. The findings were the result of investigations conducted by the OSP and a parallel aspect by the FBI at the instance of the OSP. The report clearly indicated that no direct and immediate evidence of corruption was found, a carefully defined legal standard that is materially different from the blanket phrases as, in quote, no evidence, and, in quote again, has been cleared. The OSP further emphasizes that the case was referred to the IYOCO and that the previous leadership of IYOCO because investigations uncovered strong indications of suspected money laundering and structuring and fall within IYOCO direct mandate. The previous leadership of IYOCO did not act on it and returned the docket to the OSP. The OSP returned the docket to Iyoko upon a request by the new leadership. The OSP urges all media outlets to report with precision and fidelity to the text of official documents to ensure accurate, fair, and responsible public communications on matters of high national interest. So as it stands now, there are some conversations going on. Madam Cecilia Dapa has been cleared by OSP. There's no corruption has been found. Well, OSP says no. The case has rather been returned to Iyoko. But let me start this with Zaki. Zaki, so far, since 2023, this case has been ongoing. But what do you make of this case between Madam Cecilia Dapa and OSP?
Good morning to you once again, and also to our cherished viewers who have taken the opportunity at home to watch us. I think for each and every Ghanaian, like myself and yourself and each and everyone also at home, one thing that we all can agree on, even those of us sitting around this table, is that we are not happy or we do not encourage corruption in our system, because we believe that corruption deprives our nation of a lot of things. Because if corruption relates to stolen state funds, which could be used to construct roads, to build hospitals, to build schools, markets, etc., that can also promote the good living standards of Ghanaians. I think every Ghanaian will not be happy. Great. But what I find not a good spectacle when it relates to allegations and suspicions. I think that when an allegation or a suspicion of corruption is made against someone, we need to fundamentally, both Ghanaians, the media, and even the investigative bodies, we need to be careful to protect the image of the people that these allegations have been made against. I say this because when this Cecilia Dapa matter broke out, it wasn't a matter that was found out through an investigation that she had some money in her house or something had gone on or some money had gone missing. She was in court or had reported to the relevant authorities that some monies belonging to her had been stolen. And this was ongoing. The processes were ongoing either at the police station or at the court. I can't readily remember. Then it came out in the media and was picked up by the OSP. So you could clearly see that once the matter was just picked up by the OSP, there was this calculated attempt to make it look as if she had stolen some monies and she had gone to keep at her home.
But there was a search in her home as well, where they discovered over $570,000 in her home.
Well, yes, some monies were discovered at her home. That is her business. That is why an investigation went on to establish whether indeed there were proceeds of some corruption venture or not. And I think that investigation is what has resulted in that we've seen in the OSP's half-year report. But I'm just trying to say that when allegations or suspicions are made against people, we need to respect that fundamental principle that says that a person is innocent until proven guilty. And I think that Mrs. Cecilia Dapa was deprived of that respect, or we didn't accord her that principle where people are presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
So I think that when these investigative bodies want to make their investigations, they need to also protect that for me, because it is very important. And now we've seen that the OSP collaborated with the FBI, and looking at the collaboration that went on with them, they said they did not find any direct corruption or corruption-related activity that went on, but the OSP still suspects some money laundering scheme, which it previously referred the docket to Iyoko, which Iyoko returned the docket back to the OSP. And now they said the new leadership has written to the OSP requesting that they would also now look at it. For we, the MPP and everybody alike, I think that we would want to see the logical conclusion of this matter. We've seen how it has gone now, and I think those who were quick to make some political points out of this matter and crucifying her in the media and saying she has stolen some money, blah, blah, blah. I think that today, those people who did that find themselves in government, and I do not think they will be happy if merely allegations are thrown at them and say they've stolen this, they've done this, or they've done that. So we need to be very careful about the issues that we make politics out of. And then we also need to respect fundamentally that when people are alleged to have done something wrong, we need to wait for the investigative body.
But the investigation is not concluded.
Yes, it's not concluded. But I think that as at this stage, it will give the people who initially thought that she had stolen some funds and kept in her house, will give them a second thought that, look, investigation has gone on. They've realized that there is no direct link to link it to the fact that she had stolen some government monies and kept in her house because she was a minister at the time. Yes, I think that is what the point I'm trying to drive.
You're trying to make.
Yes.
Okay, all right, fantastic. So let me come to you. My boss coming all the way from UK, Fred. So Fred, talking about this, do you think that, it was right for the OSP to act the way they froze Madam Cecilia Dapa's account? Do you believe that they acted in the right mandates, within their mandates? Sorry.
Thank you, and good morning to our listeners, especially the good people of Adam. To be very honest with you, even for the fact that Madam Cecilia Dapa was a minister at that time and have that amount of money in her house, even raised a suspicion of money laundering. And it's even not right for a minister to do that. Even in the UK, this huge amount of money cannot be kept in your house. One aspect of money laundering, or one of the things that those who do money laundering, their strategy is also to keep the money in their houses. You understand? And I'm quite surprised that if Madam Cecilia Dapa at that time was being probed by OSP, and the then President Akufo-Addo, has written a love letter saying that, my dear Cecilia, I know you come out victoriously. I mean, come on. What do you expect?
That's not a love letter, though.
Well, he said, my dear.
Yes.
Anyway, but wrote a letter trying to give a picture that Cecilia Dapa from the onset is innocent. How do you expect the Yoko at that time, under his leadership, to probe Madam Cecilia Dapa to that certain level to make sure that indeed the money over there was right money for her, or it was a source of money laundering? Now, we have the new Yoko that's really set up now, and I quite believe that the way they are doing their own investigation, they will come out to really determine whether indeed Madam Cecilia Dapa's money was money laundering. But you ask yourself, why would the minister be keeping such amount of money in her house? That money could be invested in agriculture. It could be invested in skills training. So I just want to ask my dear MPP, and including Madam Cecilia Dapa, what motivated her in keeping such an amount of money in her house? Unless she's trying to explain to us that, well, this was her. But if a whole minister,
there's nothing wrong
especially
with keeping money in your house, we have to administer that.
No,
it's not like there's anything wrong with
the amount. No, the amount is wrong. Anyway, based on what I'm coming from.
Based on where you're coming from, okay.
Because in the UK, you cannot keep even, let's say 10,000 even in your house without declaring it. So for a minister to have $1 million, and in fact, not only that $1 million, after going to her house to investigate her house or to really look at her bank account, there's so lot of money sitting there. What was the minister doing with the money? You understand? And if you read the report clearly, it has never anywhere even exonerated Madam Cecilia Dapa from anything. And I'm quite convinced and I'm quite believe that Yoko will come out to indeed confirm that such of money was through money laundering, to me.
Really?
Yes, to me, based on where I'm coming from. I believe that after the investigation, I believe that Yoko will come out with that fact.
You don't believe that she can work and get that money?
You see, let's be realistic. She can work. She's a businesswoman, but don't forget that this woman has been in politics for quite some time now. I'm not saying she's corrupt, but I personally am quite skeptical about the amount of money, because unless she comes out and tells us why she was keeping such amount of money in her house.
She told us.
What was
she told us
yes.
It was partly for her brother. Some was for a funeral. Family contributed
$1 million?
Yeah, he told us. There was, the whole $1 million wasn't for funeral. There was some partly for funeral and some was for the brother. We all got to know about it. Well, she told us where the money were from.
Well, based on various interviews done to some of their family members, they were even shocked of the amount of money. Hold on, if this amount of money belongs to our brother, why are we in poverty? Why are we still struggling?
Which family members are there?
Some of the Cecilia Dapa's family members. You know, when the news came up earlier on, they did various interviews with some of them, although it's 3 years, so obviously some of the interviews are not relevant now. You understand? But you see, this government, one of our mottos is the accountability. So I'm very convinced that we will probe into this. And indeed, if it comes out that she's innocent, of course, they should come up with a very clear information to people that, well, Madam Cecilia Dapa is innocent, or indeed she has involved in money laundering. Don't let us play politics with it. If it comes out, indeed, she has done it, she should face all the consequences or the laws of our country involving money laundering. And also, I also urge everyone that, you see, don't keep such amount of money in your house like that. I mean, you are inviting robbery, you are inviting this kind of things in there. Imagine those maids in those various houses where she employed for them to work with her. Imagine she has given such amount of money for them to start up and all those things. I don't think they will be eager to steal this amount of money. If you look at the report that came, and even if you look at her own charge sheet in the police, where you sent to the police, you could see clearly that these were, excuse me to say, less vulnerable people. I'm talking of how those made. I'm not trying to say that they are very vulnerable, but I mean, if he has invested those money into those children, I don't think they will be eager to play around this.
I think I don't know, but I beg to differ with this one, because
okay, that's fine.
With regards to this, they were being paid for their services, and once you agree to this amount of money that this is what I work for, you have no right or no business.
Oh yes, I do.
Going into somebody's private money and what they've worked for and taking it. I mean, theft is theft.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
All right. So let me ask you, Zaki. Public sentiment at this point played a major role. Do you think the public was right because of the amount of money that was discovered?
Well, first of all, I would like to address some issues that he made in his presentation. First of all, he said that the then president, wrote a love letter to Madam Cecilia Dapa.
He corrected
yes,
it.
It wasn't a love letter. But what that letter sought to address, you could see that this is a boss who was ready to vouch for the integrity of his appointee, because if you read the letter clearly, he said that I am confident, like you, that at the end of the day, your integrity whilst in office will be fully established. I wish you the very best in all your endeavors. And I think that if any president is ready to pen down this and put in the public over an appointee, then I think that we need to credit that appointee with some level of integrity. Because not every boss would vouch for someone who works for them or someone they've been associated with for a very long time. To vouch for someone's integrity is a very serious matter. So I think that he needs to also note that and also be happy that a boss was ready to vouch for the integrity of his appointee. And also, and he said that family members made interviews, and you could see clearly that he was trying to run away from that, and he said the interviews wouldn't be on the internet. I'm not sure all your family members know how much you have in your account or how much you've kept with A, B, or C person. So I don't see how that comes in to rebut the fact that the money does not belong to a family member or not. I think that he needs to stick to what the issues are. We need to wait for the investigative bodies to come and tell us that they have concluded their investigation, and this is A, B, C, D that they have established. Just like my initial point I made about the fact that we need to be careful when allegations and suspicions come out. Because, see, a human being's reputation is all what people have. So if at the stage where we've not found concrete evidence to pin anything on anybody, we don't need to make conclusive remarks or say that this person has done this when there is no evidence linking any form of corruption. Because I think that even he sitting here, who is likely to be appointed because his government is in power. I'm not sure when he holds any office, he expects that any mere allegation or suspicion would be expected to stick. And on your question about the public sentiment,
right.
Like I said, this report will give the people in Ghana the opportunity to have second thoughts when allegations or suspicions of corruption come up against people, especially public officials. Because you see,
But she hasn't been cleared.
No, she hasn't been cleared.
Oh.
But I think that this half-year report, as indicated by the OSP, is leading us somewhere. And if I do not want to make comments. I don't want to go ahead of the OSP or the investigative bodies to make certain comments. But if you look at the words that were carefully used in the report, you could see that we are on a path. We are being led.
Which of the words do you want to use? No,
if you go to the report, give me a minute. The OSP says that it did not find direct acts of corruption. I can't readily open it here, but that is what the OSP is trying to say. So, but they suspect money laundering and structuring. That is why it has referred the docket to Yoko. So clearly, they do not see because the OSP's office is set up to investigate.
Money laundering is criminal.
Yes, but now I think on the issue of corruption, we can excuse Madame Cecilia Dapa on the part that the money wasn't proceeds of corruption she kept in her house. Right. So on that's why I said that this half-year report on this Madame Cecilia Dapa issue would give Ghanaians the opportunity to have a second thought. Because I say that allegations and suspicions are not enough to prove anything or to stick anything to anybody.
All right. So, Zaki, one thing that most Ghanaians are saying is on the lips of every Ghanaian is that the NPP keeps protecting high-profile persons like Madam Cecilia Dapa. What do you have to tell people? Because every time the platform is open and every time there's an investigation that's ongoing, it looks like the NPP is quick to defend and protect such persons.
I do not think that the NPP as a party or as a government then protected any appointee. The president clearly referred his old deputy chief of staff's wedding.
I mean, even with now, we've seen that anytime somebody gets arrested for investigation, the NPP says, let's rise, let's go to the place, let's try and get the persons out. And this is public sentiment again. It brings us back to public sentiment. This is what people are saying. So what do you have to tell the people of that?
Because in most cases, the members want to, first of all, show solidarity and also ensure that these people go through the due process and do not have their rights abused. Because if you say that somebody has engaged in an act, you invite the person or you go and get a court warrant which would enable you to go and effect an arrest. And then you go and do all this. But we are saying that the ways in which sometimes some of these arrests or invitations are carried out is what we agitate against. Nobody is protecting any appointee. If anybody had, and even the former president made that clear, that all his appointees should make themselves available for any investigation or when they are called upon to come and account for their stewardship. And that everybody makes that clear. And that's why I said at the beginning that those of us at this table and even those at home all agree that corruption is something that retards the nation backwards or takes us backwards. So nobody will protect anybody. But just what we are saying is that when you feel that or suspect that somebody has done something wrong, take the person through the due process, investigate, and then when you are satisfied that indeed something has gone on, the necessary punishment should be meted out.
All right. Thank you so much. Fred, the NDC currently, you're working with the OSP, and now the case has been referred to Yoko. Are you happy with it so far, the process so far?
Oh, of course. You see, my brother, I just want to address this. The question now I ask is that why the rush when President Kotogbor issues such a statement? The OSP has just started their investigation, and for a president to write such a letter, that means you are indirectly covering your appointee. Because imagine when the case broke out, and now the president have already written a letter that, you'll come out victoriously. What's the meaning of victoriously? The president knows that if I don't do such a thing, probably it will go against my appointee. But you see, when you read through the report, this what the special prosecutor just released was just a mere report of their findings, not necessarily the outcome of anything. It's just a report. You understand? And if you read clearly, it said money laundering. And money laundering is in the bosom of Yoko. Right? So with a new leadership, with a new board, with new investigators and everything, I have a strong conviction that they will delve deep into this case and come out to tell us exactly what Madam Cecilia Dapa...
No, but the OSP clearly said that he didn't have the mandate to investigate money laundering. And the FBI
is saying that, listen,
yes, that's why he's taking it to Iyoko.
So hold on, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
And that's why he also needs to note that this investigation wasn't carried out just by the Office of the Special Prosecutor alone.
Parallel with FBI.
Listen.
So even if you want to say that...
Let me finish.
Let Fred make us...
You see, when the case came up earlier on, it was not just about money laundering. There was various charges. And when the OSP went to the house, they saw a lot of money there. They froze their account and everything. So if they have done their various investigations and said now the case left for them to determine is money laundering, and in their bosom is a Iyoko, and now they are referred the case back to Iyoko.
You see, they've frozen their account. So, the question people are asking is, did they even act within their mandate to freeze their account in the first place?
The fact that the account was frozen doesn't necessarily mean that that's the procedure. There's a reason why the account was frozen. And if they investigated that and found out that, no, give her access, give her the access to her money back, that is quite different from the investigation.
But the court actually said the OSP should return her money to her.
No, her money has been
yes, there was a court order to that effect.
All right, so I need to proceed. Okay,
you understand?
I need to move on to the next conversation. But before I move on, people feel the NDC is winning political mileage points with what is happening.
Oh, no, you see, it's quite evidential that in the President Akufo-Addo's era, when the cash for seats came, when the deputy chief of staff, then their issues came, various allegations that came. You see clearly President Akufo-Addo was trying to cover their own appointees. But under President Mahama, you see quite different. And President Mahama has openly told his appointees that he would not cover anyone. You remember President Akufo-Addo had a name called clearing agent. I mean, during the political...
Named by...
Oh, well, I mean, it was named by Ghanaians.
No, it was named by the NDC.
Anyway, but NDCs are Ghanaians anyway. It was named that he's clearing agent because he was clearing most of his appointees. Under President Mahama, you will see everything that he told us. Have you forgotten that during President Mahama's first term was when Mr. Moses Asaga was investigated in jail? It was under his jurisdiction.
Okay.
Who? Mention one person that was jailed or convicted under President Akufo-Addo. No one.
Okay, so what do you hope to see out of this in the near future?
You see, I just want to see...
1 minute to land
Okay, I want to see the clarity. If indeed she's involved in money laundering, she should face the consequences. But if indeed it comes out that she's clean, of course, let them people know that she's clean. But I will continue advising and adding that such amount of money can be invested in various places unless there's another reasons to that.
Thank you so much. Zaki, what do you want the outcome to be? 1 minute on that.
Like I said, myself and every other Ghanaian is interested to see the logical conclusion of this matter. You see, he keeps saying President Akufo-Addo did not. President Akufo-Addo cannot just get up and pick an appointee and go and throw the person in jail because of a mere allegation.
A minute to land.
Okay, because of a mere allegation. No, that cannot happen. I'm not sure even he himself should because I'm praying for him to be appointed, So if he's appointed, I don't think merely because someone has made an allegation against him, he should just be held and thrown into a jail. No, a process will go through. And when that process ends and it is established that indeed something wrong has gone on, the person will be thrown to jail or meted with the necessary punishment. That is what everybody keeps saying.
Okay. So the Sanitation and Water Resource Committee of Parliament has suggested that there should be an increment of sanitation levy from 10 pesos to 50 pesos. I don't know what people think about this, but I know for sure that it's caused misreactions. Some people are saying that they pay this 10 pesos and they still don't even see anything better happening in their environment. They are not seeing the sanitation workers working as they are supposed to. We are seeing a lot of filth around us in our marketplaces, even in our homes, the gutters nearby and all of that. We are not seeing the sanitation as promised that it should be done. And so where will this 50 pesos go to? Well, they tell us that if we pay the 50 pesos, we'll see a cleaner city. Will this happen? So I'll start this conversation with you, Fred. Fred, what do you think about this?
Personally, I personally support the increasement of the sanitation levy. We need to manage our waste very well. I mean, Ghana is not only Accra. If you go outside Accra, the waste management over there is quite poor and it's costing us a lot, health-wise and financially. So increasing this would give us some more money to work around it. But I'm concerned much more about the strategy of how we can manage waste. You see, if we always have this system of going to pick up the rubbish or picking up the debris and just go and throw them and burn it, I think it's another waste of money. If we have a system whereby most of all these waste will be converted back into energy, more or less becoming a recycle, that in a situation whereby we even need more rubbish to generate more energy capacity, I think we'll even keep our street cleaner. I'm very, very, very on support of that.
Yeah, in support of
yes,
it.
but
okay.
I also think that the transparency needs to be done. But unfortunately, it's quite surprising that we are still this topic also comes out with Madam Cecilia Dapa. She was the Minister for Sanitation, and we saw the amount of money that during her term or during her time, she gave us the promise that she's going to clear the Odo River and all those things. We can't even find the money now. You understand?
A certain amount of money was used to dredge the Odo River.
Oh,
but she said it in Parliament.
Yes, she said that. But today, when you go to the Odo River now, it's the same thing. So where did the money go? You remember when
we see that it's gone back, but let's not also take it away from her that she did dredge it at a point in time.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that the amount of money that was allocated to her during her term, that amount should have cleared most of all these things that we were talking about. So imagine she has invested the money very well with a good strategy. We wouldn't have even come to say we want an increasement in that, because that would recycle most of the money that invested in sanitation management, you understand? And it will create more employment. I still believe that the increasement under this leadership, under Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, if you look at what he said during his vetting, and if you look at what they've put in place, I think that the money is very necessary. And I believe that when this money is necessary and being paid, and it's being done according to the strategy, we may not come back to add another increasement. No, that would be good in managing it. But I'll keep on stressing that we need to recycle our energy for generation capacity.
Okay,
as well.
So you said looking at the amount of money that was given to Madam Cecilia Dapa, we could have done a lot, right? Yes. Thank you so much for that. It was 10 pesos we were paying, and she got that amount of money. So why don't we stick with that same 10 pesos? And with that 10 pesos that we are paying, give that same amount of money to the sanitation minister currently to do the work that he can do if Madam Cecilia Dapa couldn't do it with that amount of money.
Imagine you've given 900 to clear, let's say, 1 ton rubbish, and you didn't do it. As at another 2 tons, another extra ton has added, making it 2 tons. You understand? So now the rubbish there will need such amount of money. Now, don't forget that all this was being worked out properly by the various engineers, by the various sector players to identify that indeed we need this increasement to sort this problem out. So if, for instance, this amount of money is being paid and nothing is being done, then we come back to the table and ask that, look, Cecilia Dapa, then times, during her term, had this amount of money. Now you've also come in and collected this amount of money through our levies. So where did we use such amount of money for? You understand? So I think that we should trust this new administration to manage that amount of money, and we should trust this administration that they will not go back to what Madam Cecilia Dapa in his term and other ministers during President Akufo-Addo's term. Because if you look at the various reports from the ministries of local government, or even, let's say now, sanitation, you could see clearly that little was done. I mean, but a huge amount of money was allocated 10 times. So if, for instance, a whole ministry, it's not even a whole ministry. When I say a whole ministry, in this current administration, the sanitation has been added to the local government, right? So if President Akufo-Addo's time, he said, you just manage sanitation and water. So just sanitation, that's a small agency that's now added to Ahmed Ibrahim's ministry. And Madam Cecilia Dapa and Akufo-Addo, President Akufo-Addo couldn't manage. That tells you a lot. You understand? So I am very optimistic that this thing will be solved. But they should they should add more recruitment to that. They should not only recruit them in terms of, using their cars or using their brooms and all those things, but they should teach them how to use those rubbish for better good, so that we don't clear rubbish around the gutter, right? And then bring it back here. Then we should, we should get more recycled plant all over.
All right, thank you so much. That means that Lavender Hill, something must be done about Lavender Hill. All right, so Zaki, are you in support of this 50 pesos increment?
You see, my brother here sometimes, I think we need to remind him that he's currently in government and he's not in opposition.
But he spoke as somebody in government.
Because look, even from the proposition that this levy should be increased, we do not see any plan. And we do not see the difficulty that the current government has seen in relation to the current amount that relates to the levy. We need to see the challenges. The minister needs to let us know the challenges where the previous government took in terms of the funds, what they took, what they were able to do, where it has gotten to, whether or not it is adequate or not. Then we can have a conversation about increments. Because clearly they made us aware, and Ghanaians bought into it that they were not going to introduce new taxes and burden the Ghanaians with so many taxes and all that. But clearly, within a short period of time, this tax is even talking about is next year. So that means that what is he trying to say? Is the minister trying to buy an excuse for the fact that he wouldn't be able to sort out sanitation issues within this fiscal year? Is that what the minister trying to buy excuse or buy time for himself? No, I think that.
But he still has budget, so he still
exactly meaning yes. So he needs to do something with that. Let us see what has been done. Let us see evidence of work. Then we'll be assured that okay, the minister has this amount. This is what he's trying to do. These are his plans. It is inadequate. Then even when there is a need for us to support him or support an increment, we will do. I do not think that we just sit and oppose increment of taxes or not. No, that's not what we do. But we need to see real commitment to using the tax to do what it is speculated or perceived to do, or what it's supposed to do. That is what we need to see.
Exactly. What exactly would you want to see with regards to, the waste management, especially? What exactly do you want to see?
Well, waste management is clearly, like he said, it's not just an Accra issue. I think that looking around, especially let's just limit ourselves to Accra, it's about our drainage system. It's about how our gutters are choked with litters and all that. We need to devise a strategy. And he maybe can go and then advise his people in government. They need to devise a strategy that would ensure that on a daily basis, the refuse that are generated by the people are collected. Because you see, if you drive around town, just even coming here, you will see that every morning Ghanaians bring out their waste materials to the fronts of their houses, expecting that the collection vans will come and collect this refuse to a certain point. Sometimes these collections delay, and these refuse will then find themselves into our gutters, choke our drainage. And when it rains, because the water does not have access to pass, that is what causes flooding and all that. So they need to come up with a clear strategy and convince Ghanaians that this is what we inherited, this is what we seek to do, this is where we will take the sanitation situation to, and this is the expected money or support that we need to envisage a cleaner Ghana.
And with that, you believe that Ghanaians will be willing to pay this 50 pesos?
If there's a clear commitment, I don't think that anybody would see anything nice or anything beneficial and oppose it and fight against it. No, nobody will do that. We'll clearly support it.
All right.
But as at now, I don't see. I would just see it as a mere talk or just an idea to buy time and excuse.
All right, thank you. 1 minute and then 1 minute to wrap up.
So I think my brother seems to forget that we are just 7 months in government and we were elected to solve a problem. You were in power for 8 solid years. So if you had a strategy, or you've actually had a strategy in solving such a problem, all that we could have done is just to improve the strategy. But this is a situation that we have just come into government 7 months, and you are talking about this or that. Whilst you were in power for 8 solid years, we are not even 1 year. And we have identified the problem. That's why Ghanaians voted for us, that come and solve such a problem, that our gutters are choked. Come and solve for us. We can't even collect rubbish in our various houses. They are still littering onto the street. The Ghanaians saw our manifesto. They read our manifesto. They believe in us to solve a problem. And now we've come. And don't forget that the debt left at the ministries of local government in various companies that we have, they did not pay, the MPP did not pay. We have to pay them. And we have to derive a system or strategy in solving such a problem. I don't know if you recall, when President Mohammed's first term, his brother, Ibrahim, volunteered to dredge the Odo River. We had the news around here. But that was one of the problems. Because, for instance, if you contract a company to dredge the Odo River, it will cost you a lot of money.
What do you think about bringing private sector?
Yes, I support that.
You support
what we can do it's not necessarily give it to them, say, oh, go and do it. We have a partnership with them. Not, let's do the UK system, whereby they are being contracted by various companies. However, you are still under the government controls you, and it's been done locally.
Okay.
Like, say, Hillingdon Barrow, I'm using London because that's where I live anyway.
Right.
Hillingdon Barrow, so technically, I support that. And also, I support the strategy that the minister said, that they are going to use the district base because they understand the system. They know where they are, where the rubbish are.
I have to
and I think that's fine.
Fantastic. Yeah. Zaki, just 1 minute to make your point, and then we move to our next topic.
I keep trying to remind my brother that he's currently in government. I remember when they came in after it became clear that the president had formed his government. There seemed to be a clear chorus singing by the NDC each time an issue comes, they tell you, oh, we are just 5 months. Oh, we are just 6 months. Oh, we are just 7 months. We keep going, and then later they'll come and tell us that the 4 years is not enough to solve any problem. It's just going to be excuse. So now I put it to him, or I try to urge him to give us a plan. Show us a plan. You are in government. Show us a plan, either from your manifesto, either from cabinet meetings or whatever it is, a plan to solve this sanitation problem. There is none. He's not been able to produce any plan, and now you want to fight for it.
All right, so fantastic. Thank you so much.
Instead of the national one, the district one. So someone in Hamley district, they will be in charge of theirs. That's the first strategy.
So you are bringing the same strategy to Ghana. Is that what he's saying?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
And you need to question whether it is his idea.
No. Have you not heard of the local minister? The
all right.
For local
so then
doing it district basis.
So then we have our eyes on the ground, so we'll make sure that we bring you every detail with regards to this 50 pesos that there is actually a proposal for, because currently we pay 10 pesos, so there's a proposal in Parliament that it be increased to 50 pesos. We'll definitely bring you more about it once the conversation is ongoing in Parliament as to whether it will be implemented or it won't. We will let you know. Let me put it like that. We'll let you know. Now, I think for the past 3 days, there's been a particular issue that's been trending. This man who says he's a social activist, Ralph, he's also a social media person, and he went to Ridge Hospital because he had an accident, and when he went there, he said due to the delay, he decided to stream live on Facebook and on other media portals as well, social media portals as well. In the course of that, there was a bit of verbal altercation. After everything that people watched, yes, people have condemned that act because you have no right to film people's private life on social media. Now, most of these people that were at the hospital have their private life. Being in the hospital is privacy. You cannot put somebody's health in the public domain. He did it without thinking twice about it. Now, yesterday, we also heard that there was an assault on one nurse, and currently the nurse has spoken, and she told us how, she has been injured. She has fractures all over. She said she was beaten, and she was threatened by Ralph and some other young men that were there. The president or the government has set up a committee, and they've given them 7 days to bring a response out of their investigation. So investigations are ongoing. I don't know if video of the nurse speaking about how she's been injured, giving her account of what happened is ready. We can play that video, and then we can have a conversation on it. So if it's ready, come. All right, so on that note, we'll just have the discussion, and then later we'll play that video for you to see, because the nurse has spoken. Now, Ghana registered nurses and midwives have also told the government that they want to see Ralph arrested within 2 days, else they embark on a strike. Do you think that is right for them to embark on the strike, Zaki, out of what Ralph did?
I think that what the Nurses Association is trying to do is trying to stand up for its members and to ensure that its members wake up in the morning with a sound mind and they feel safe to go into the hospitals to work. Because these people offer very critical services to the nation. I don't think that any nurse or doctor or any worker at any health facility should wake up and feel reluctant to go to work because they feel unsafe at their workplaces. You see, whatever issue Ralph might have encountered when he went to the hospital, I do not think that acts of violence was the answer to that, or was a way to register his displeasure, or to show that something was going on which he didn't like or which wasn't going to inure to his benefit. But you see, this matter is even a straightforward matter. We don't need a committee to come and investigate this matter and say, we all saw it, this thing is on video. So first of all, what we needed to do was to get the police to first of all pick him.
But we saw the police in the video. There was police.
But to now, we've not seen any...
He's not been arrested.
Yes, he's not been arrested. Because we need to do this to send a clear signal to each and everybody because look, if somebody disagrees with how you are hosting this show and the person comes here, I don't think that is the right way to go about things. Because if we do not take action, I think people would be clothed with the power to wake up and always take laws into their hands. We need to set an example.
I think what the video shows is more verbal abuse than physical abuse from the video.
Yes.
Obviously, we were not there, but we are hoping that the CCTV cameras are working.
Yes.
And so there will be evidence of that physical abuse. Yes. So what we saw was verbal abuse, because you cannot go into anybody's domain and abuse the person, whether physically or verbally. And the second thing was putting people's private lives on social media, which was wrong. But then, so let me ask Fred, what do you make of the whole event so far?
Thank you. In fact, when I watched the video and I heard the nurse, in fact, I was very, really sad. I mean, this is really, really unacceptable, and it should never be accepted, not even on the basis of, let's apologize to them. No. First of all, why would you go to the hospital very aggressively? And you could see clearly from the voice of the nurse that was assaulted. In fact, the nurse herself offered to even help him rough. You understand? And why would you do a video on sick people or patients in the hospital? That's even a violation of the laws of the places. And so interestingly, when I heard the director of Rage even trying to tell us that he himself also offered to support them or to even assist them. You go to the hospital, follow right procedures by going to get a card and all those things. You opted not to do that. Excuse me to use the word. Why? Are you above other patients? No. So why would you even go there to traumatize them? And to be on the motor with 8 people, I mean, based on what we've heard, why would you do such a thing? This is unacceptable.
He was on the motor with 8 people.
Yes, that's what they said. When he was treated or untreated, then another
there were 8 motorbikes
came inside to assault the lady. And in fact, based on what the lady said, when she did not see them coming, but it looks like her colleagues saw them coming, so they ran away, and she was the vulnerable person that they assaulted. And I think the police should be up and doing it. I've just seen the guy, or I've seen Ralph on social media trying to justify his case. Why would you do that? Say, go and watch the social... You want to challenge the government? You want to challenge when I said government, it's a government property. You want to challenge the police? That they should rather go and check the video. And if you were assaulting or not. But you see, let me also use this opportunity
I think that most people don't understand, the assaults, because even for the physical assault, we are yet to see the footage of it. Yeah. We've seen the nurse, give her vivid account of what happened. But obviously, we will have to see the footage, or, during investigation, they'll see the footage. But that verbal assault was even wrong in the first place. No matter what, you can make your case right by not using verbal assault. But that verbal assault, so even if it's on social media, trying to justify, he has to go back and watch the video again and see how verbal assault can affect somebody psychologically. So, Zaki, you wanted to make a point before I move on to we have just 3 minutes to wrap.
Don't worry, let me commend the minister for going there, because he went there to actually give them assurance that, look, we are with you. And I think what the minister did was something very, very beautiful. And he went there to get more information about that. When he said he's setting up a committee, not necessarily a committee about Ralph, but a committee about, this situation, how can we solve such a problem that it doesn't happen? Ralph is the one who went there with a video. But what about Tamale? What about Tumu? What about Wa? That there's no video. What is the attack on the nurses? What is the attack on the patient? Is it true that the patients are being seen at the short possible time? Are we lack of staffs? So we have to do such all investigation and now know that these are some of the problems that cause it. Do we have to now get more security at the door? Okay. We have to have a digital registration. So many things. So it's not necessarily about RAF and all those things. But I think they should really, really arrest RAF. So that,
you think so?
No. I mean, why would you do such a thing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Zaki, looking at what RAF did, we all are condemning RAF. But one way or the other, we are also seeing certain parts of things that happen in the hospital. Because imagine you get involved in an accident and you get there with your loved one and they tell your loved one, go get a card before we see your patient. And probably at that time your patient is unconscious or is convulsing. And so they say, no, until there's a card, we are not seeing, your loved one. It now breaks you. It takes you to a different realm. So this probably is also an eye-opener to a lot of things happening in the hospital. Do you agree?
It's indeed an eye-opener, and especially on this card issue. But I believe that if the MPP had the opportunity, or the Ghanaians had elected Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as the flag bearer, today we wouldn't have been here having this discussion, because probably the digitalization agenda would have gotten to the hospital, and then it would just be by the click of a button, and then your details are gotten from the system for you to be attended to. You don't need to go through this manual card system where you see this delay. But just by the entering of your name and all that, your details are brought out. So clearly you could see that we're on a path to having...
I mean, himself is laughing.
We're on a path to see that we are going to have a very beautiful society that had everything being digital and fast. That is what digitalization does. It makes everything smooth and fast. So maybe the minister can take a cue, or he can reach out to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and have some of his ideas, contribute to see how best we can have our health sector digitalized. Because it is very, very, very important. Because I do not see why at each and every visit to the hospital, they need to go and pull a folder, look for my card. That is time consuming. But in as much as there are issues around the health sector, first of all, this action is clearly condemnable.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here this morning. Yes, you want to, before we go, just a minute.
A quick one.
30 seconds.
About saying, Doctor, but I mean, you left a huge sums of money. You couldn't even pay them. How much more digitizing?
Anyway, this is all time for Feminitas for that conversation. So we have another conversation coming up. So I want to say a very big thank you to Zaki Abdul Hamid, who represented the NPP, and Alfred Freddy Kotogbor, who represented the NDC. Thank you so much once again, gentlemen.